Well, it is hot as hell here in Central Illinois at the Horror Fix offices, but maybe not as hot as the heat happening in the Miami area on this, the 8th and final season of Showtime's Dexter. So what I thought I would do is I'd give you a little bit of rundown of the events so far of the 8th season to catch everyone up to speed getting ready for the 2 final episodes, the first of which premieres next week. So a lot has happened in the first 7 seasons of Dexter. A great show that, although it's had its ups and downs, has been consistently a very well-written program and a front-runner for Showtime Network. Those of you who obviously have not seen it, which I'm hoping is not many of you, because then you're just going to be horribly confused and don't understand why you're watching this at all. Dexter follows Dexter Morgan, a serial killer who, living by his father's own sometimes warped code of ethics, seeks vengeance by being a fly-by-night vigilante hunting down and killing other killers. Hence, Dexter is the Dark Avenger, the killer of killers. We've been through a lot in the first seasons. Dexter has had many, I guess what you could call loves. He's been married, he's lost his wife, he's lost friends. He has never quite seemed to become 100% of that human that he's always been striving to be. But more so than ever here in the 8th season, we are seeing a more emotionally developed Dexter. And I think that this had to have been a great season for Michael C. Hall, just because you really get to see more of a depth to the character of Dexter, I think, than you have in the past. Dexter is really conflicted between what he wants for himself personally, what he wants for himself what he wants for his family, and how he has to try to make all of that gel and all of that work to save the horrible bloodlust of his dark passenger. Season 8 actually opens a little further down the road. We removed a few months from the conclusion of Season 7, which, as all of you know, was very, very shocking. We saw LaGuerta actually track down Dexter, finally found him out for what he was, and in the midst of this big reveal, Deborah, Dexter's sister, finds the both of them and ends up actually shooting and killing LaGuerta to protect her brother. So now we're several months in the future, and everyone's life has progressed, but not necessarily for the better. We see Detective Quinn and Angel's sister now in a relationship that appears to be, although passionate, rocky at best. Dexter now no longer with Hannah, his ex-girlfriend slash ex-serial killer in his life, is actually going about business as usual, but Deborah, his sister, is just an enormous train wreck. The girl that used to be this hard-nosed detective and then a hard-nosed captain of Miami Metro has now become nothing more than a shell of what she was, compromising her ideals, compromising her own personal code to save her brother, and she's having some major, major regrets about it. So we see that she is now out of Miami Metro, moved into a job as a private detective, which comes in one of our more robust guest starring roles, which is Sean Patrick Flannery of Saw and Boondock Saints and Young Indiana Jones fame. In fact, we've got some really good guest appearances this season, which we always do on Dexter. That's always been a huge strength of the show. Dexter actually finds Professor Vogel, which was a professor who dealt in the anatomy of serial killers, someone who knew his father, and we find out that she actually taught Harry Dexter's code. So she's sort of the surrogate mother. We know that there's another serial killer on the loose that has a horrible connection to Professor Vogel. Indeed, the reveal of this past episode is that the serial killer who'd been removing portions of his victims' brains the entire series is no other than what she thought was her lost and perhaps dead serial killer son. So we have a huge conflict. It's serial killer against serial killer, as has been a huge theme in the Showtime series thus far, and that's being carried through the last and final season. We see the return of female killer and scorching hot blonde Hannah back to the scene as she tries again to wrestle with her breakup with Dexter and realizing that she can't quite have him out of her life either. The two are intertwined, star-crossed lovers, forever to sort of repeat their mistakes but never being able to let go of their past. So we've got a lot happening so far. And all the way up until this episode, the 10th, which is called Goodbye Miami, we have Dexter hot on the heels of the serial killer that's turning out to be Professor Vogel's son, one who seems to be ahead of Dexter several moves as Dexter is conflicted with his personal life and his life as the Dark Avenger. We have Deb, who now has sort of finally come to the grips with the fact that she has to move forward too. She can't live in the moment where she killed LaGuerta because it's killing herself every day that she thinks about it. We've got Quinn, who can't quite let go of the fact that he and Deborah are no longer together. The one woman that probably could have actually put a saddle on him and made him a sort of a monogamous family man and not so much the player that he is. So we've got a lot of our major players in this drama who really are looking for absolution. They're really looking for redemption, and they're all sort of finding it in their own ways. But as episode 10 draws to a close, Federal Marshal is hunting down Hannah, hot on her heels, after she goes into public and makes an impromptu appearance at the hospital for the sake of Dexter's son, Harrison. We've got Deb, who's finally decided she's going to go back to Miami Metro, not as captain, but climb her way back up through the ranks as a detective. We've got Quinn, who's decided to end his relationship with that hot little Latin number, Angel's sister, simply because, I don't know, he's an idiot. That's the only thing I can come up with. The girl was hot. We've got Angel, who seems to be pretty stable this season. He's still got his restaurant. He's captain now of Miami Metro, and he's really coming to his own. We've got Professor Vogel, who meets an untimely end at the hands of her own son at the end of episode 10. So we've got Dexter and Hannah trying to rush up to Argentina. Dexter trying to get one more kill in before they start their life together overseas. And we've got Deborah back on the force. Lot of things happening, really drawing to a spectacular finish. 2 episodes left. So I hope you enjoyed Horror Fix's Dexter Rundown. Season 8 has been great. I'm looking forward to a great ending, although it's a little bittersweet knowing that I followed this season, not this season, sorry, but the series from episode 1. So seeing it finally come to its conclusion is going to be a little weird. Thank God we've got Walking Dead right around the corner, or else I might be grieving and wearing black for a little while. So thanks for sticking with us, and thanks for sticking with Dexter through 8 seasons, and we'll do a series wrap-up on our thoughts on everything after the next 2 episodes here in just a few weeks. Thanks.